EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchich here with your outlook for January 8th, 2024. It is Monday, back to work, and Kinsley's Family Market in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania sponsors the Monday video forecast. Game day Sundays are first and foremost all about football, but a close second is all about the food. Catering ideas are just a click or phone call away. They have the best and biggest wings and smoky meats and jerky from their in-store smokehouse. Their deli department offers 3 and 6 foot hoagies, King's Hawaiian Philly cheesesteak sliders, and freshly sliced meat and cheese platters. Always a favorite from the seafood department is their famous steakhouse shrimp and coconut shrimp. And don't forget football cupcakes from their in-store bakery. Best of luck to your team from Kinsley's ShopRite, located at 107 Kinsley's Drive in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Proud sponsors of the Monday video forecast. Okay, so today we have high pressure and control of the weather, and that is sitting right over top of the region today. So pretty nice day, as far as, we don't have to worry about any rain or snow, of course, but it is going to be seasonably chilly today with temperatures that are going to be pretty close to seasonal average. So generally in the, as I have above me, 38 to 45 degree range from northwest to southeast with that high pressure control. So it'll be a nice day, kind of like the proverbial calm before the storm, so to speak, because we do have this system coming in here for Tuesday, and we do have an increase in clouds overnight tonight. I think it starts off cloudy in the morning on Tuesday, but then we have this mess moving in. Now, you'll notice some blue here at the beginning of this. There is a little bit of snow on the front end of this, but it's only going to affect our far interior areas of like northwestern areas when you got by like State College over to Lock Haven, and then right along the New York-Pennsylvania border in northeast PA and some higher elevations as well. And I'll show you that map here in a minute, but we do have some snow at the onset, and this is from a system cutting in the Great Lakes. We also have redevelopment over western at North Carolina. When you have a redeveloping system, this is a Miller B situation where it's transferring energy, but normally you want this load, if you're going to do that, you want this low to be here, transferring to a low that's sitting out here in order for us to have any kind of wintry component that'll be more involved with much of the region. We don't have that. It's cutting too far to the west, and that's why you're going to have a changeover to rain. Okay? And that is going to occur everywhere. Then when we get into the evening, that's when we get into the heavier rain potential. There's also the potential for a squall line with some very gusty winds moving through, and a dire flooding situation. And I don't use those words very often because I'm not one to use hype-type words, but you have to understand that in the month of December, we had 3 major systems that produced 2 inches or more on 3 different occasions, most recently December 27th and 28th. And then we had this system this weekend that gave us rain and snow, and some areas still have a lot of that snow on the ground in the northern half of our region, at least, okay? So a combination of snow melt, you could almost add that to whatever the snow totals are because, the rain totals that are being projected. You can add that snow melt to that, the liquid equivalent of that, because that's going to melt and make things worse. Even areas that didn't have that, you still had those 3 rainstorms in December, and you still had rain on Saturday, or mostly rain, or something turning to rain. You still had the liquid equivalent of that, so it's not a good situation with the already saturated ground, and then we're going to get all this rain on top of that. And then you add the wind component into it too, which is going to make it even worse. So you see the isobars are very close together, and with any squall line coming through, here's these isobars are right on top of each other. So that's going to be a very synoptically driven wind event to begin with, and then you have a squall line that can make it a little bit more convective-like or mesoscale feature that could increase those winds as that line moves through. Okay, so this does move out before Wednesday starts, though. This is going to be a later at Tuesday night deal where it ends and then moves out. So Wednesday, we're just intervals of clouds and sun. We're going to remain breezy, cold air, advection-related wind gusts. Okay, so let's get to the NAM high-res future simulated radar first, and I'll show you the snow and where that is. You see where it is. Here's State College. There's Williamsport. There's Lock Haven. Okay, so it's targeting those areas. A little bit might start in northeast PA. And again, favoring the elevation for some very minor accumulations before this changes over. Same thing out here. You actually might get a couple inches before it changes over out in these areas because this will be coming down at a heavier rate than it will be over here. So, but this will all change to rain everywhere. So we're going to have showers elsewhere during the day on Tuesday. Then it's going to evolve into steadier periods of rain on Tuesday evening. And then we have this squall line that's going to move through. This is going to be heavier rain ahead of it. The winds are going to pick up. during the afternoon and in the evening ahead of this line. And then when the line moves through, that's going to be the peak of the gust. You can see a squall line effect here going as it's moving eastward, and it goes all the way eastward to about the Delaware River before it starts to collapse. Okay, and then when it finally moves out of here, this is the middle of the night. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning right here, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's finally off. So this is not something that bleeds into Wednesday, but again, you're going to have some pretty heavy rain totals out of this. And just taking a look at the European model for snowfall first, we can see out here in central PA, State College, over to Williamsport and Lock Haven, you might get a couple inches out of that, before it changes over. But further east, you're probably just like maybe a coating to an inch, except maybe the higher elevations up here in Wayne, Susquehanna, and part of Pike County might get, a quick inch or two before that goes over. But then it goes over everywhere, and then this is the total rainfall for the entire event, okay? This is the estimate right now from the European model, which is right now showing anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5 inches of rain. So if you have that in combination with everything I just mentioned happened in December, and then again this weekend, whether it was rain or snow really doesn't matter. If you do have snow on the ground, it hasn't melted yet, you can add that to these totals here. You're also going to have a little bit of southeasterly wind ahead of that line, so it's going to push up against the mountains. If you get up here in the areas that got smoked with snow, that are still sitting up there with 12 to 15 inches of snow on the ground, you're going to have some serious problems with orographic lifting of this. It's going to enhance rainfall a little bit in an area that already has that much snow on the ground. That's going to be a disaster. That is going to be a disaster. I think the Poconos are going to have a hard time with this in particular, but everywhere here in our region is going to get much unneeded rainfall. We can't do anything about it, can't deflect it, and it's definitely coming, okay? So that's just the general range of what we're looking for as far as total rainfall. And again, if you have the liquid equivalent of 3/4 of an inch of rain on the ground as snow that's going to melt, that you can just pretty much add those to these totals here and make it even higher, okay? Because that's basically what it's going to do. Make sure your storm drains, the areas that have snow, are clear. Okay, that's going to help with the runoff and trying to minimize as much flooding as we can. You're going to have a lot more flooding than normal in areas that have snow because it's going to kind of sit there, right? It has nowhere to go. So if you can help that along by clearing the storm drains in the street and not be one of those that says, well, it's not my job. Well, it kind of is, unless you want flooding all over your street. And then here's the wind coming in here. Again, this is Tuesday morning where it's not too bad yet. It's when in the afternoon it starts picking up a little bit. And then we get the evening, it really picks up. And you get some gusts here that are consistently in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. With the squall line, once it moves through, I'm going to move this through as in make this a gust swath. With the squall line, as it moves through from west to east, you can get some gusts up to 50 as it moves through. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get some gusts even higher than that down by the shore points. We're into the 50s, between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Not impossible with that squall line as it moves through. Some very high wind gusts there associated with this particular event. So we're going to continue to watch that because that is a recipe for power outages, okay? We have saturated ground. The roots of trees and branches and things like that are just soaked, and it doesn't take much to get them to snap. A lot easier under these conditions, and it doesn't take that much wind to do it. And then you're going to put winds like this on top of it, then we have some serious problems. In the wake of this, even though the precipitation stops late Tuesday night, we're going to have cold air advection-related wind gust here on Wednesday to deal with too, which is, again, just cold air advection, but you could have some wind gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range throughout the day, okay, as the colder air comes in. So we got a big mess here to deal with. And so this wind is not just going to be for Tuesday evening and then even more so with the squall line, because then after that moves through, it does die down. So the squall line moves through and it's gone, right? Then it dies down. You're just generally in the teens, but then we get to Wednesday, you still have the cold air advection-related wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour moving through, just kind of adding fuel to the fire here that we don't really need. Beyond this, we get to Thursday, and we have a mostly sunny day in between, seasonable temperatures again, and then we have another system that may cut again as we get at the end of the week. This will be in the Friday to Saturday time frame. Right now, this is looking somewhat similar to this one we're going to be dealing with on Tuesday. Not quite as potent as it's shown right now, but we'll see. It's close, but it might be another deal where you're starting off as it looks almost identical, doesn't it? Almost identical. But then behind this system, that's when the real cold comes in finally in the wake of that system, because at the end of if you look at our 7-day forecast, we have temperatures well into the 40s and 50s ahead of that system as this system's moving through the second one, right? Actually, both of them really. But when this moves through, you're talking about temperatures in the 40s and 50s, and then behind this for Sunday, the highs are only in the lower 30s. So we're going to have some colder temperatures for that entire third week of January that I spoke about in the Weather Weekly's video yesterday and addressed in the long range outlook on Friday. That is still coming. We're still getting the mid-month cold, but we're going to have to go through a milder-ish week to get there this week with a couple nasty rain storms. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for January 8th, 2024. Have a great Monday.